my voice, my body, my hands. I tremble with the need to express. Out of the earth, I celebrate. Out of the skies comes my answer. Out of the earth, I create his body. Out of space, his abode. This bounty and this beauty is my source. My body is the instrument of my expressions.
Whether it is clothes or textiles, whether it is pots or utensils of clay or metal, the lamps that are used to light up the night, or even the ritual images on the floor or on the walls of the house. Everywhere the eye turns, it finds objects of beauty, all made by ordinary people as part of their everyday lives. In a sense, each person is an artist or is living in art.
The formless is attributed and unattributed and gone into absorption in the cosmic void. Himself has he made creation. Himself on it meditates. In the cosmic void is he absorbed, where plays the unstruck mystic music. Beyond expression is this miraculous wonder.
I'm here at Lothal, amidst the ruins of India's first great civilization, the Indus Valley civilization. These are the mute remnants of a vibrant and pulsating society that existed 5,000 years ago. Quite amazingly, the traces of what eventually grew into the great Indian aesthetic tradition can be found here, amidst the pottery, the seals, the miniature sculptures, the other objects, the toys that have been found in different parts of this site. The civilization has perished, but it seems the soul has survived.
One pot, one potter, and one who is the creator of the universe. One wheel which has created all sculptures, and one point in the center where the core dwells.
Previously, the transport used was by bullock cart, and bullock cart was always with the wooden wheel, and it was a mud road. So it was moving and jerking. Jerk will come automatically lot of time. So they have designed one pot which was going to use as a drinking pot, but it was made in such a way that it is to be kept inside the mouth so the water will not spit. I will show you one of the example. See, this is one. Now we feel that this is one with the lid, but it is not a lid, it is double, 2 in 1. This is lid as well as the pot. So we can drink the water like this, and when the neck is made especially long because of the reason that the water may not spill out and it will go inside, and whatever the jerk will come, not the pot will move, not the water will come out. This is another pot which is beautifully designed and technically made without going to any technical college, that the milk are poured here. Suppose it will be here and it will be moved, but the base is made in such a way that it will never fall down. So while carrying from well to the home, generally in India the ladies will work. So their torso is here. So this is designed in such a way that they can put it just fitting in the torso and keeping their hand here, so that they can carry another pot also.
Even though I am a painter, I believe that what India has, this folk and tribal tradition, is a great tradition.
Folk and tribal art is an art that comes from within.
It has a great value of creativity.
There are so many people who are unknown and living in villages, and for generations of experience that they have, the aesthetic vision they have, that vision, and in today's time, how they respond to their contemporary environment and do wonderful things. So what are they?
They are one with the nature, they are one with the life, which is so beautiful.
Before the 19th century, every tribal area, wall paintings or images that they worship, a spirit needs to be invoked, and this is by chanting certain songs and playing musical instrument, and the spirit will come in the body of one of the participants, and this person would become possessed by the spirit, and then this person would transfer and request the spirit to reside in the wall or to reside in the image, so the image becomes sacred. Before the 19th century, there was never an object made which was supposed to have been framed and hung on the wall or was supposed to have been tabletop decoration. There was no object that was meant to be decorative. It was all functional. For example, take a woman. She's making an embroidered shawl for her daughter as a dowry. Over 5 years, she embroiders the shawl. Then she makes the pipings around it. She might make small 7 pipings around it, because when she is embroidering, she is thinking when the daughter will grow up and she will marry and I will give this shawl to her. And therefore, I feel that at every level, an object that was meant to be functional was differently made. An object that was churned out. Churned out is churned out.
Cannot be made without singing. You know, a shoemaker will make the shoe and sit for a while, or a potter, and sing beautiful bhajan or surdas or tukaram or whoever. And I think we have when we define work, we don't see the in-between space of the life, which is so beautiful in our country.
For the people of India, life is to be enjoyed and savored. The essence of life is the realization of beauty in its most perfect form. For instance, nature is beautiful, and it is this beauty, observed, distilled, marveled at, that finds expression in Indian art. Art inspires life, life inspires art.
Whereas nowadays, in very few places in the world, I think, you can find art not isolated from life, not a museum piece, not things which you learn in the classroom, and when you come out of the classroom, you are totally in another context. So this continuation of the cultural context, the life of the people and the art is still there. The experience in Qatar was really that whatever gesture and sitting position we were taking, I was looking out of the window, Guruji's wife was sitting in that same way to do the chapati or to do the chandan or to prepare the puja. The pujari was coming in the room, doing the arati, singing the same sloka that we were just learning in the dance. So these kind of things, it was, that atmosphere, it was there and it's still there. And I found the right guru immediately. That was a great asset, because if it was not for Guru Kelucharan Mohapatra, maybe my choice, my life would have been different.
Dancers look deep into the past and also into their inner selves. Because I think if you're a good dancer, you're able also to connect with the inner self and the outer self of people.
So if I were to say, the flight of a bird, so this would just be gesture. To say the bird flies, it's gesture, symbol. But I think what the dancer, and this is like the dancer is really giving life, to what she does, is that she has to feel birdness. She has to feel the flight of a bird, in which case you get emotionally. You have to transform yourself constantly.
I remember once seeing a dance drama of the Ramayanam and Hanuman, and he was just so much a devotee of Sri Rama, and he leaped on the stage, and I said, my goodness, this young man really can jump. I mean, I was seeing it also from that angle. And I went afterwards, and there he was, this old man holding on to two people. He could hardly walk. And so I said to him, and he said, I was Hanuman there, I'm me now. Kathakali actors, after they make up, they're not supposed to look in a mirror. That is why very often they are made up by people, and in the beginning they start it and then they lie down, and a chuttikaran, as it's called, a man who makes them up. And then slowly, slowly, they become that character.
The transformation of the performer into the character portrayed liberates the person from the individual and the subjective, lifting the emotions from the purely personal to the universal level. The exhaustive codification of the arts, or Rasa, gives the artist or performer, whether in music or dance or painting, sculpture, even architecture, the freedom to contemplate and explore the infinite possibilities in the innermost human emotions in their universal essence.
What you do is you look at all of life. The vegetation and the trees and the flowers and the moon and the sky and the sun and the birds and all of life, and you abstract that. You abstract that into a series of states of mind.
When you see Buddha's face, the smile conveys everything. That is a gesture, the smile is a gesture, or the body gesture. Like we see in Indian miniatures, Naika, complete bent over herself. And you know that she's in total despair. But when you lift your eyes and look at the nature, you see there's a lake behind, and the border of the lake is very jagged, very rugged, with almost spikes coming out. And it's not the representation of a geographical location, but the location of emotions. The moment you have established this relationship between yourself, this self, and this other bastard self, it's making one major demand on you as a human being. And that major demand is the twin demand of impersonality, sacrifice of the ego on the one hand, and intensity on the other. This is this twin paradoxical demand. How can you be that? Because the moment you say you are intense, you are to be subjective, right? And the moment you say impersonality, you're detached, you have no emotion. Now here you need both the great intensity of a sentiment or an emotion, rasa or bhava as we call it, and at the same time, it is not to be a subjective thing. Rasa means flavor, but it is really the sap that rises in the tree, and which gives life to the tree. Vigalitta Veda Antaranandam. Antarananda is the inner pleasure, the inner joy. It is Vigalitta Veda that when the knot of knowledge dissolves before a great work of art, you get that great inner pleasure. This defines rasa, that you are really, undergone this feeling of rasa, you have experienced rasa.
The path of aesthetics, the path of feeling, was another way of getting to salvation. You did not have to always do salvation by austerities. You did salvation by refining your emotions and your feelings. And this comes up, first in the Natya Shastra, in Bharata's Natya Shastra. And from Bharata's Natya Shastra to today, especially in classical Indian music and in dance and in theatre, it lives.
Out of a seed grows a tree. Out of a tree, a flower. Out of a flower, a fruit. So rasa is the seed of all the higher emotions.
nothing can be said about the Taj which hasn't been said before. It is one of the greatest buildings in the world. One which demonstrates India's excellence achieved in architecture around the 17th century under the great Mughals. Just look at it. It took 20,000 workers nearly 20 years to build this enduring monument to love. A monument which is now unique in the world.
The architecture of the Mughals is a very sensuous architecture, of great pleasure. You only have to look at the Taj Mahal, you can see the voluptuous quality of those shapes, because there was this pleasure in life.
Let the splendor of diamond, pearl, and ruby vanish like the magic shimmer of the rainbow. Only let this one teardrop, this Taj Mahal, glisten spotlessly bright on the cheek of time, forever and ever.
Now, if I look at the architecture in India, you take the oldest architecture, the Hindu and the Buddhist, you would see there the importance of the idea of architecture expressing, really being a model of the cosmos. It's an incredible idea that you build a building to represent the non-manifest world above you.
If you see their architecture and sculpture, it's a highly organized, very structured architecture. You know, it is very mathematically calculated. They are built on a large platform, high platform, which demarcates the sacred space from the material universe.
The Indian sculptor is concerned with embodying spiritual experiences and impressions, not with recording or glorifying what is received by the physical senses.
When you think of the genius that produced, say, the great Kailashanatha temple at Ellora, which I think is the world's greatest work of sculpture, because, you know, the whole monument is sculpted. It's not an architect, it's not built, it's sculpted. And we know virtually nothing or very little about who did it, why he thought the way he did it, you know, how did he get so many artists to become inspired to work as a team. I mean, just think, if we could give India over to that architect and the sculptors that worked, I mean, we'd have a phenomenal nation.
I'm here at the Chennakeshava temple in Belur, Karnataka, southern India. They say that this temple, this entire temple complex, took about 103 years to build. And if you look at the walls and the carvings on these walls, you probably understand why it took so much time. Every inch from top to bottom is covered with intricate friezes and sculptures. You can see them all: elephants, episodes from the great epics, dancing girls, sensuous, caught in mid-movement. They're all there, awe-inspiring in their intricate workmanship.
Contribution to the aesthetics of the world is expressed in its sculpture. And in sculpture, I think what we have, if you ask me to say in nutshell, in one sentence, the essence of Indian sculpture is, I'll say that it is to be able to express the infinite or the spirituality in terms that are at the same time sensuous. I think this combination, this harmony of the spirit and the body, which is the essence of, in a sense, yoga, I think is essential to the understanding of Indian aesthetics, that you just don't see it in any other tradition.
I saw the image within me take shape outside. When I saw this, I realized that the figure that stood before me was really myself. I understood the statement from my tradition, the sculptor becomes the sculpture.
The Shilpa Shastras, which is all the law of proportions. The proportions are to such a degree that even the width of the earlobe is given. Nothing imperfect can become divine. For instance, in Indian sculpture, the eyes were done the last. And the reason being that suppose you're making the Lord Shiva and something goes wrong. He is not Lord Shiva till you have put the eyes. So you could easily destroy it, melt it again, cast it away. Because if he's a god, you can't do it. So only when it's perfect that they will put the eyes. That is a ritual aspect. But that was also, it's a part of the philosophy of form.
The Indian traditional artist doesn't copy directly from nature. He doesn't have a model, to copy, but he produces the image by mental visualization or dhyana.
When the king wanted his wife to portrait, he would tell the artist that her face is Padmini, but her eyes are Chitrini. Now that is highly erotic, because Chitrini are very sensual women. So whereas the face is Padmini pure, the eyes are very mischievous. So the artist would immediately understand. And he would not want to see the girl, he was not realistic, but he would make that image with the Padmini face and Chitrini eyes. And the king, oh, that's exactly my wife. But because he would not see the physical resemblance, he would say this is a character.
Unless one is involved totally as a self in this whole process, it means unless you become one with the writing surface, the content and the form, even the flow of the ink, the tool you use. So unless all these things, they are totally integrated in the mental frame, and then almost a stroke is performed prior to it comes out, as if a singer would, take a tan. Almost in the same way, each and every stroke is manifested with a total integrity, provided you are totally immersed or soaked into the spirit of the discipline.
विजन जो एक पर्सनल विजन जो इवॉल्व करना है, वो उसमें वक्त लगता है. वैसे तो आप एक सर्कल बनाएंगे, जिसको ड्राइंग नहीं आती है और जिसके अंदर वो कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है, तो वो सर्कल तो बन जाएगा, लेकिन वो बड़ा इंसिपिड सर्कल बनेगा. इसके लाइन के अंदर स्ट्रेंथ नहीं आएगी. जैसे जैसे आप उसको बनाते चले जाएंगे, फिर जब आप एक सिरे से जब शुरू करते हैं, तो आपको मालूम है कि दूसरा सिरा कहाँ है. वैसे ही जैसे साउंड का है, वो है तो वही 700 सबके पास है, 7 रंग सबके पास है. अब वो 7 रंगों को कैसे इस्तेमाल करना, यही तो है. The emphasis on imagination, the freedom of creative visualization unfettered by the constraints of reality and realism, gave wings to artistic expression. The depiction, the portrayal of the beautiful is the domain of the artist. But in the Indian point of view, the beautiful is something to be striven for and achieved, no matter whether the approach is by the artist or the spectator. In fact, it is only when the spectator or the appreciator, the rasik in Sanskrit, imaginatively participates in the creative process that the aesthetic experience is achieved.
I think there's an Indian way of thinking which is a much more storied way. We think much more in stories, in narrative forms, and this was our strength, that we told political instruction was through stories, the Panchtantra. Even mathematics, the storybooks used to start, Leela asks this questions, etc. So we always had storied nature of thinking and a storied way of passing out the information or education. So even now, if you meet somebody who wants to convey to you something important, and you say, let me tell you a story, and that is the way of our speaking.
जब वो चला थे भैया और मन पहुंचे घना घोर जंगल में। अच्छा। अब अपन ले घूमे बर नहीं धर इनका। तब वो कुत्ता क्या करे? जहाँ भीड़ पुत्र एकलव्य ध्यान में लगे भैया गुरु के। वहाँ जाके अच्छा भैया बोला या कैसे ये भूखा न लगा। भैया जाके ये कैसे ये भूखा न लगा। हे भैया वो कुत्ता जाके फिर पुत्र एकलव्य के ध्यान ला भंग करत है। अच्छा।
Music brings us closer to the divine than any other form of art. Music is meditation. Music has the power to liberate and enlighten not only the musician, but also the listener.
Rhythm is the heart of all creation, which moves in the atom. It is rhythm that churns up images from the vague and makes tangible what is elusive. This is Maya. This is the art in creation and art in literature, which is the magic of rhythm.
मैं समझता हूँ एक कलाकार के लिए नेचर सबसे बड़ी इंस्पिरेशन और इतना कुछ हमको सिखाती है।
अलग तरीके के मेरे साथ वाकयात हुए हैं जिनसे मैं प्रभावित हुआ हूँ, वो चाहे संगीत हो या आर्टिस्ट हो या उसका घर हो, किसी के घर गया हो या उसका देश हो, वो सारे एक्सपीरियंस मेरे म्यूजिक में आते हैं।
If somebody dies, there is a music. Somebody is given birth, there is a music. For the inauguration, there is a music. If you go to a temple, there is a music. Everywhere music is there. It's so, so nice that music has become a part of one's life.
हमारे यहाँ कहते हैं कि जहाँ स्वर है वहाँ ईश्वर है।
भैरव में भैरव कौन सा है? तो राग भैरव ये सबका बादशाह है, और चूंकि महादेव का है तो बादशाह तो होना ही चाहिए।
कभी कभी ऐसे भी मुझे महसूस हुआ है, ऐसे भी मुझे अनुभव हुआ है कि उस अवस्था में जाके जब मैं पंचम लगाती हूँ तो ऐसा लगता है कि मेरे अंदर ही कुछ क्रिएशन हो रहा है। जब मैं गंधार लेके बैठती हूँ तो ऐसा लगता है कि यू शुड लव एवरीवन।
grace of God, today the whole world has realized our Indian classical music, our art, our culture. I feel Indian classical music, the message of Indian classical music itself is freedom within the discipline. That you are allowed to improvise, but within the set rule of ascending and descending. To achieve that appeal in your art, you need blessings. First of all, of God, and then Guru and all the senior people around you, including your parents. Music, I feel, is a way of life. Music is absolutely connected with our old graces, old tehzeeb, tamiz, parampara.
Aaj mur man raag, aaj mur man raag, langar
सुर में जब तक सुर का असर नहीं होता तो गाना नहीं है। आपके गले में भी सुर है, सबके गले में होता है, लेकिन रियाज करके वो सुर में सिद्धि आती है। जैसा एक सुर लगाने से ना समझने वाले भी कहते हैं कि हमको समझ में तो नहीं आता, लेकिन कान को अच्छा लगता है, यहाँ तक पहुँचता है।
Completely breaks all the barriers because it's a universal language. Beyond a point, it is the emotion we try to go for, not a particular note, not a particular ornamentation.
Even the most ordinary work of art in India is propelled by a sense of connection with the universe. And this is what makes all the effort and the labor and the time worthwhile, even in the creation of the most transitory of images. And this is why, in a sense, every piece of art or craft that you see in India is an original.
In space, through architecture. In form, through sculpture. In body, through dance. In words, through poetry. In sound, through music. In thought, through mathematics. When man discovers order and rhythm, he touches the divine within himself.